All right. Welcome in, guys. Dude, Nova, everyone listening in. Thank you guys so much for being here. How's everybody doing today? Bringing
Hello, hello. You listen to
Doing
me good?
good, doing good.
nice. Dude, it's been a while, man. How are you?
Yeah, it is. Are you listening to me fine?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm in a new setup here. Are you listening to me good?
Yeah, you sound okay. I think I
Oh
can.
yeah.
You're a little bit quiet, but it's okay. I can turn you up a little bit on my end, and anybody else listening can just turn your volume up. But the quality is good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Let
Yeah.
me
I,
bring.
I I have a new table mic here, and sometimes it clashes on Discord with my camera mic. And yeah, it's being when you used to make a space, I used to do on my iPhone, so it goes better with the the head speakers and on, but on Discord, yeah, it's how many times have been already had a event like this in Discord? Because it's been a while. Last time I was here, we were in the space.
Uh, Wait, sorry. Say that again, dude. How? What did you say?
When
Reading
did
the
you
chat.
guys start doing the roundtable on Discord? How
Oh,
many?
on Discord, I think maybe 3 episodes now. This is the third or fourth one.
Not that many.
Yeah,
Not that
not
many.
many, not many. But man, Discord audio. I mean, it's always messed up. Like, uh, audio is always very finicky on Discord,
Yeah.
so it's understandable. Um, we got 64 in here. Hey, brother. I was
Yeah. What's going on?
I was a little worried you were gonna ghost me again, man.
Never, brother, never. Piefly's gonna come up as well.
Okay,
'Cause like
awesome.
I've had plenty of chances, like you know what I mean, to talk, and like so I asked the boys after like Gilbert if anyone else like wanted a chance to talk as well, like from the Vice leaders.
Yeah,
So Pie's gonna come if that's cool. Pie's gonna come up and
of
chat as
course.
well.
Yeah, him and I, we had
Thank you
like a
so
nice
much.
a nice
Nice.
duel yesterday. He gave me some cheese. I love Pie. He's a good guy.
Oh, he told me about it, Jyrmz. He told me about it. All right, all right. I know. You know what
I
I'm
ga-
talking about.
I gave him a little spook there. It was
Uh,
all fun, It was all love.
oh, absolutely, brother.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
was a fun
How
battle.
is everybody's GVG today?
We had our
Uh,
first win.
yeah.
I saw, dude. Y'all were
Down 5 people.
5 people. Sin with 40-something kills, bro.
Yeah,
That
dude.
was insane.
Wow.
We couldn't
Wow.
believe it. We weren't expecting to win today, and all of a sudden we get in there and we're like, "Oh wait, we're actually kind of
Oh,
strong." Wait a
Nova,
minute.
did you go against our second warband? Is that you?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I saw the picture. That was crazy.
That was
Dude,
insane. I
it
couldn't
was
believe it.
nuts. GG's though, like that's y'all put up a hell like that seemed like it was a really good battle. Like score was pretty close, but yeah, seeing Sin 40-something kills was crazy.
It was nuts. But yeah, it was back and forth like the whole time. It was a good fight, man. Oh yeah, you got a screen clip. Oh,
Yeah, I shouted
yeah,
y'all out in the
Schwarty just
OSG
put one in there
Discord.
too. Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate you. How was everybody else's Guild Wars today?
Uh, for me, honestly, it was a little rough. We were up against TGG. It was like Snow and
Oh yikes!
Snow and
Ooh.
Neo and some other TGG guys. It was a very nice warband, and um yeah, they put up a really good fight. Honestly, they're very coordinated in their team fights, and their builds are very well mapped out. The way they utilize their skills, it was pretty eye-opening, and yeah, they cooked us pretty good. I mean, we got, I don't know, like 1,500 points, and it was still a lot of fun, but definitely one of the tougher fights we've had. But yeah, always fun regardless of whether we win or lose.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite pieces of content right now.
Absolutely. We were actually just talking last week about how we wish there were more guild wars going on, like 3 times in one day, or,
Yeah, dude, that'd be
multiple
so
time
sick.
zones would
That
be
would be
so
sick.
nice. That's our biggest problem right now as a guild, honestly, when it comes to Guild Wars at least, is that we have so many people at different time zones, and we have like a lot of people who are like, oh, I'd like to be there, but they can't because it's like, I might, may or may not be back from work in time or whatever. So it's kind of one of those. So right now we tend to just send 2 warbands out a week because we can for sure get 20 people. That's easy.
Yeah.
But just to play it safe. But multiple time zones would enable us to be able to do like 4 or 5 potentially, which would be super nice.
Yeah, I mean, Niter was there with us on, I think it was 2 roundtables ago, and, we were all talking to him about how we wish, there was, actually, I think Lou was there, who's in the audience now. He was proposing an idea. I don't remember the details of what it was that he was proposing for the Guild Wars, but it is in the episode 8 summary, which is in the forum post of general feedback here in the Discord, so you can check it out all there. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they implement something. I think Niter is aware that people want different times, for the different time zones, and even multiple Guild Wars a week would be really cool, even if it's a couple on one day or spread out throughout the week. It's definitely something everyone would love to see implemented into the game. Before we dive any deeper into this conversation, though, let me go ahead and kick things off officially, if you guys don't mind. I will say first and foremost, thank you guys to those of you who are listening in, and to those of you here on the stage with me. I really appreciate you for being here, and this is our RavenQuest Guilds Roundtable episode 10, hosted by your one and only Jyrmz, co-founder of RavenQuest.tools, and I just realized I'm being killed in game. Let me kill this pirate. Get out of here. Let me go back upstairs. There we go. Yes, co-founder of RavenQuest.tools and also a vice leader of Explorer. I'm currently Legacy 76 in the game, pretty high up there in blacksmithing as well, about to hit 83, and have been enjoying RavenQuest thoroughly for the past few months since it launched. I'm very excited to be here, very grateful to be here, and I do want to just make a note of it that RavenQuest.tools and the Guilds Roundtable, anything we discuss here, it's we are not officially partnered with the RavenQuest team, Tavern Like Games. We're not affiliated with them and their team. So, anything we say here, it's purely, community opinion based. We're just kind of sharing our thoughts as players of the game, as leaders in guilds, and people who play the game a lot. So, I'm not a representative of the team. Just want to make that clear. Sometimes people confuse that. And, yeah. I will go ahead and open up the floor to all of my speakers that I have here. And I want you guys, if you can, just do a very quick introduction of yourselves. Who are you? What guild are you from? And you could tell us, what's your favorite thing that you do in the game? Are you a blacksmith? Are you a mob grinder? Are you a king of the sea? We will go ahead and start with Faison. Is that how I say your name, Faison? Are you here with us from Fam Guild? Yeah? Awesome, man.
Yeah.
How are you? Please go ahead and introduce yourself to the stage.
I am Faison from Fam Guild. I've been playing the game for about 7 weeks. I'm level 68 Legacy. And I pretty well just grind demons all day, every day.
Nice. Are you out there with Sin and Punishment? Doing the demon grind?
That's my partner.
God.
We just grind every day,
So you guys
make pretty good coin on it.
Yeah, it's the Twisted Blades, right? I'm sure you're
That was the old one. We've swapped over to the high level demons now. So in the past 4 days, we've gotten between the two of us a trophy and 4 or 5 of the legendary ring fragments.
Oh wow. Nice. Which ring fragment are the demons dropping up there?
The Void Mind.
Nice. Very cool. I appreciate you sharing. Welcome up to the stage, Faison from Fam Guild. Let's go ahead and kick over to 64. Why don't you do a quick intro?
64 World, OSG, and I think everybody probably knows who I am. I'd say rifts are still probably my favorite part of the game. Very excited for arena and things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pass it to Pi.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good, Sir Pyeth.
Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up, Pi?
I'm a vice leader at OSG. What up, Jyrmz? Fun fact, guys, yesterday Jyrmz held me for ransom against my will. Anyways, I'm kind of an all-rounder. Kind of just, yeah, have all my professions, I would say, like above 30. I've been running trade packs a lot recently. My fishing is pretty high as well. Yeah, just all around enjoying the game. Just really trying to do everything. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you for being here with us, Pi. Kaiser, tell us about yourself, brother.
Yeah, sorry. I'm the leader of GXE, Gamers Galaxie. I'm pretty much just love any type of healing content. I love when things get a little like that stressful anxiety, like the fun type, not real life anxiety stress, but like when it gets like you're in a stressful situation, you need to heal and stuff, and like people are getting dangerous low, all that stuff. Super fun. I love those moments. So just personally want like Guild Wars super fun. Hope arenas can be like 3v3 to get some of that action in there. So just a lot of that PvP like healing content, but there's not a ton of it right now. So mostly Guild War.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Kaiser. Dude, I'm sure everyone knows who you are, all the OGs of the community, the man, the myth, who translates all of Snyder's very long AMAs. But how are you, dude? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm fine, thanks, man. I was saying when you said that, ask about introduction, I was like, oh yeah, here we go again. And then I just checked my profile here and say, oh yeah, maybe my roles here in Discord can say, I don't know, can help save people time. Listen to me saying about stuff here, but we had two warbands. Just to reply to your first question.
Yeah, sure.
We have two warbands, and my warband today scored like 2K, almost 2K points, and we end up losing before the time ran and we lost. But funny thing, we had a lot of fun and we learned more still about strategy, and it was really fun. And this alongside with Rift, which by being a content creator here, I was lucky enough to be invited to 3 tournaments already, 2 online and 1 physical in São Paulo, where I lost the final match to the monster Abak. But it was a really nice a moment of my life in RavenQuest, alongside with, like, of course, other stuff. But yeah, really glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, dude, and thank you for sharing, man. Yeah, that creator tournament was rough, man. Fighting Abak it's no easy feat. I remember back in the day when we were first starting out, like, I don't know, a couple weeks into the launch of the game, we ran into Abak as a guild in Plunder. And oh my god, I think it was like 6 of us fighting him at once, and
I saw that video. Was that you? 1v6? This was a legendary.
Yeah,
movie,
probably it was us. Yeah, it was rough.
On the deck, next to the sea, on the deck. Was it on the deck?
Oh, no.
I remember
maybe it wasn't
video,
us.
man.
But we were fighting him in Hatterack with I don't know. There were some other people there. Anyways, it was a fun day. We had a lot of fun. And okay, moving on, we got our last speaker here, Nova. How are you doing, Nova? Thanks for coming in, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Doing well.
Yeah,
I'm Nova from Laughing Coffin. I co-lead with my little brother, Sinful Morpheus. And currently, the guild's still loving duo rifts and guild wars. We're just absolute PvP junkies, so we're just eagerly waiting for arenas.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we love the PvP, man. I'm always at the end of the night, running around Plunder looking for people to finish off the day with the boys. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for introducing yourselves to the wonderful listeners who we have today. And thank you, listeners, for being here and tuning in with us and talking about the state of the game and enjoying this conversation. So, on today's plate, we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. There's actually been a lot of movement recently in the RavenQuest announcements from the team. in the game. So I'm super excited to be here to discuss everything that's coming up with you guys. And yeah, so just to quickly touch on that, you know, we've already talked about our Guild Wars, which is always a fun talking point for the roundtable. Then we're going to be talking a little bit about Niter's Forge and the upcoming Quest 2.0 system with 1.1.0 update incoming. Talk a little bit about that. And the boss bounties, which we have, which are new, the effective level being increased, as well as just an open forum towards the end where we can talk about, you know, anything that people want to bring up, comments from the listeners, and some things that my speakers shared with me before we started this roundtable. So, yeah, I want to remind you guys that I am going to be taking everything we are talking about today, and I'm going to be creating a forum post in the feedback channel. So hopefully, you know, this is valuable to you guys. You know, I want everyone to feel like their voices are being heard, and I think that Niter is actually helping out a lot with the Niter Forge, making sure that everyone feels like, you know, the team is listening. So speaking of Niter's Forge, that is something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Did everyone go ahead and give that video a listen and a watch? Or maybe not so much. 64, did you listen to the Niter's Forge?
Yes.
Awesome.
Sorry, hold on. I'm just my 7-year-old.
Oh, you're good, man. If you're
going
dealing
crazy.
with stuff. Hey, listen. You know,
I'm here
I'll
though,
talk
brother.
about, you know, something that I was really excited to hear on the Niter's Forge was the way that they're dealing with bots now, right? So I think we've seen the introduction of the reporting system in game. So hopefully people are feeling like, you know, a little bit more empowered to deal with the bots in game. And something really cool that Niter shared as he was talking the Niter's Forge was about, you know, why maybe some of the bots were left kind of to do their own thing for a while, and people felt like they weren't dealing with the bots. Niter was talking about how actually the softwares that they have in place to combat botting and cheating need to have data to learn on top of. And so they actually purposefully left some bots in the game, you know, allowed them to get to a level where it wasn't really too impactful on the state of the game so that they could learn and then, you know, quickly eliminate those bots from the game when they tried to come back after being banned, right? So how did you guys, or, you know, if that's your first time kind of hearing about this concept, what do you think of this? Like, how are you feeling about the, you know, the new reporting system and, you know, just the way that they've been dealing with bots? Does it feel better than before? Have you been seeing less bots in the open world? Do you think it's still like a problem in the game? Dude, why don't I pass the baton to you? You can tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, interesting enough, I haven't seen many. I have one land in Runnerwoods, which used to be a bot's paradise, and it's been a while, to be honest, that I haven't seen anyone. And I did enjoy this move for Niter. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, I should translate this into Portuguese, voice over him here, but then I realized that there are some good tech has already come to this to save me from doing that, and I just heard myself and enjoyed very much the initiative.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I personally have been seeing a lot less bots in the game, so I mean, it's incredible to hear that like it's also the same on your end. You know, I think they've really started to crack down on it, and Niter was also saying in the Forge that like this is a big reason why they've been somewhat delaying mobile, is that mobile actually is an enabler of new cheaters. Yeah, exactly. Paradise, right?
Oh yeah.
So they were actually like holding off on mobile to learn more about the botters and collect more data and like figure out a better way to deal with them here on PC before introducing mobile. So
yeah.
The botting definitely has gotten night and day difference. Like, cause we constantly have probably like 10 plus people in Discord VC like 24/7 because like of the different time zones, and we would sit there and be like, that's a bot, that's a bot, that's a bot, that's a bot. But like now, I feel like we don't. I haven't seen a bot in a while, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 2,000 people were banned recently in a massive ban wave, and or maybe it was more than that. When they introduced the new system of reporting, maybe it was just 200. I don't know. It was something 200 or 2,000, maybe a big difference. But yeah, with the new system of the reporting and the CMs kind of being more on top of actively monitoring people in game, I think we've seen a really nice reduction. Before you could go to Rona Wood and almost any server you could see somebody.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's awesome. Yeah, anybody else have any comments, thoughts they want to share about this whole botting situation and anti-cheat, or if not, we can move on to the next topic. All right, awesome. So, guys, huge point of conversation in the last week's roundtable was crafting. If you're crafting, or I'll say this, if you're not crafting, big problem has been going on where, like, I feel like a lot less people are buying right now. The prices of gear has been dropping and dropping. It's a lot harder to sort of sustain yourself as a craftsman. I will actually pull open my bank for you guys really quickly here once I can finish up these last few mobs. Let me get to a safe spot. And if you guys can, take a look at my stream. Like, this will be a fun in-game demonstration here of, like, kind of the challenge that I have as a craftsman. So I'm gonna open up my inbox storage, and you can see, guys, I have like 4 pages.
Hey, yo.
And
Yeah.
just look
brother.
at the amount of armor that I could not. I mean, maybe if I relisted at a lower price, I can sell it. But man, it's rough, and this is not even counting the armor that I've yet to craft or the armor that is currently on market waiting to be sold, right? Once all of that gets swept back into my inbox, it's going to be pretty intense. So I'm not here to complain, not here to, talk smack or talk shit like Niter likes to say that we do here on the roundtable, but, one thing that I was really excited for that Niter was talking about on the Forge is that they are going to be introducing a new, like, burning mechanic for armor and gear, outside of maybe just taking this armor and infusing it into your current gear or feeding it to the monk. I think it was some way where you could burn gear and, like, improve or, like, add new abilities, I think was even something he roughly touched on. Not a lot of detail there, but is anybody else here also crafting, also maybe dealing with this issue of, like, people not really buying that much armor lately or not engaging with the market as much? And, what do you think of this a burn mechanic?
Before anyone, I mean, the guild had already their official professionals, and at first I refrained, but then I start leveling alchemy just to lose money because anyway. But I'm enjoying it and stuff. But I've seen our high-end crafters suffering with something that you spend a lot to craft, and you end up like you come to a point where you craft your own and you stop crafting because there's no point of keep crafting unless you're buying XP, which is the reason pretty much you should have a profession and hit your oversupply daily and stuff. But anyway, as a guild leader, I didn't have time to work on professionals, so I had to refrain myself from that game, and I'm just playing around. But I've seen people suffering exactly by that. I was happy to hear about the repair sort of thing. I hope this is making a way that keep incentivizing people to keep crafting because we are lacking. But as of today's state, the crafting system is not happening at all, except, as I said, for buying XP basically, and sometimes hit the jackpot. But
dude, I have a question, and I'm gonna ask this question to anybody who wants to chime in here, but because I think it's you brought up 2 really good points. Number 1, the repair mechanic. Man, I actually forgot about this, but I think that's gonna be an incredibly, like, useful way for craftsmen to like hit their oversupply, basically to have a job, right? Like to have a purpose, right? Like, okay, I'm level 85 craftsman, and I worked so hard hitting my oversupply every single day so that I can repair my guild's gear, right? And maybe like that'll help me get more XP and like not have to generate supply for the market, right? Because that's all I'm doing is I'm just flooding the market with gear and weapons and stuff that people don't even have demand for. So that's actually a great point to bring up. But one thing that I question is, you know, is the problem that I'm experiencing as a craftsman, like, is this really a problem? And what do I mean by that? It's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of how to word this. Basically, the problem that I'm experiencing and that other craftsmen are experiencing at a high level is because we're trying to hit oversupply every day. But maybe it's unnatural, you know? Like, maybe at a certain point, like, the game is not designed for people to hit oversupply every day. You know, maybe this is the point where I'm supposed to go, okay, you know what? It's all right. I can slow down. Like, as a player, I don't need to push max level. And if I really want to push max level, like, here's the repercussions. The repercussions are I have too much gear and nobody wants to buy it. And, like, I'm just selling my silver for XP, right? Maybe this is normal, and maybe it shouldn't be, you know, Niter shouldn't come up with a solution for people to hit oversupply every day and not be punished, right?
Yeah,
So,
maybe oversupply should just before. Sorry, I'm jumping
no, go
again
ahead.
here, but I will refrain next time.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Because we've already talked about this in the guild, that the oversupply shouldn't have anything to do with your legacy level at the end of the day. It should apply to your professional level only, and maybe as a cap for I don't know what, but anyway, but not touch with the legacy level. But this was an early access tool. We've been talking about this for a long time, how this system is kind of crazy, and for a long time I haven't heard about it. When you brought it, it reminds me this conversation we have at the guild. That's why I don't know what you guys think. It's a very hot topic, like removing the quote unquote only resource you have to buy XP, basically as a professional. But
yeah, so
surely we have an incentive that is driving to a bad place.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat right now. We have a comment from Lou and a comment from Oracle. So Lou is saying, problem, in my opinion, is that oversupply cap is too high. And then Oracle's saying, what do you think if we have an option of breaking down crafted gear for return of a portion of the resources that we use to craft them? So, yeah, these are actually two topics we talked about in the last roundtable. Lou, I think this is a good point. You know, I think if, like, basically we were talking about last roundtable is there's just too much stuff being crafted. So how can we limit the amount of literal items being crafted, like, per day? Like, can a craftsman have a limit? You know, you can only craft like this many armors, and each armor you craft gives you more XP. So you can still get the same amount of XP, but you're just crafting less items. I think decreasing the oversupply is also a good solution. Maybe kind of touches on what Dude is saying here, how it's not really tied to legacy level, but more profession level. That's an interesting point, actually. And then Oracle, yeah, this is also something we talked about in the last episode. I think it's a great idea. I think it'd be really cool if you could burn an item and get a portion of the resources back. I mean, that would be awesome. I'm looking at the market right now. I was looking today because I was thinking about crafting some light blades, and there's not a single cunning handle in the market. I mean, well, there's like, I don't know, 5, right? But I can't even craft one light blade with 5 cunning handles. So I think this is also a bit of an issue where, like, I mean, it's an issue. It's also kind of cool. You know, I think resources that you get from mobs should feel valuable and important and impactful when you get them. So I don't know. It's I'm not honestly sure where I stand on that issue. I do think, though, it's a very good idea if we could break down our crafts. Having some special crafts that are like 1 time per week, cooldown, or 1 time per day would also be good. Yeah, that would be really cool, Lou. You do them once per day, and you kind of like pray that you get a good one, and a good one is then like way more valuable because the supply is so low. Yeah, all very good thoughts, guys. Does anyone else on the speakers want to touch on this topic? Like, what do you think of the crafting system, and any ideas on how it can be improved, or like, if not, we can always transition.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of the things that people brought up, like with Oracle was saying about getting a part return on breaking it down. For me, I went like the way like we set it up in OSG is like we had specific people focus on alchemy, specific people focus on blacksmithing, carpentry, different things, fishing, and I found when I was blacksmithing and like when I got past 40, like into the 40s and stuff, I just found it like consumed so much for such a little like dude had said like you get like insanely lucky with a craft, or it's basically just like your bank like how your bank is, you know what I mean? And like I'm just pouring funds into crafting, into blacksmithing to really only hit like maybe 1 out of 10 like on it like a decent piece.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
it's just it hurts the heart sometimes, I had to switch over to cooking because but yeah, no, I went hard with carpentry and piefly as well, and blacksmithing got in both like upper 40s, and then it was like I got to pivot because the return is just not there. But I'm hopeful for some crafting changes soon.
Yeah.
At least around those parts.
64, man. I wish you could hear like I wish there was like a recording of all the times that I complained to my guild members, because I think they were ready to kick me out of the guild for how many times I said
it's valid
I crafted
though.
20 armors and I got nothing. Like I was so jealous of like my friends like showing me all their good crafts, and man, there was like a month where I couldn't craft a single piece, and oh my god, it was horrible. It's horrible. But
I feel like that kind of goes into part of the problem though, and that to preface first is like I've been lucky to avoid a majority of the issues with crafting simply because I've just gone hard into carpentry, and I sell boats to any guild member or friends at like the same cost it makes me, so like I'm not profiting, but I'm not losing, right? So it's like whatever, and I'm doing it obviously so guild members can get their boats and get stronger and this thing. But I think like because the problem is like everyone's been trying to rush to the top and everything and craft all these pieces for everyone, right? And so that kind of leads to them flooding the market, which is one issue of itself. But the second one, and what I maybe just as a idea of some kind, and maybe I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I wish there was kind of just some way to influence like the stats, and I'm not saying like guarantee it or something, but kind of like MOA breeding, right? MOA breeding, you can do things like increase the chance of it to be like yellow by 5% or whatever. So I think that along with like some other key ideas that have already been said before me, so I won't repeat. I think like could kind of work in like junction together, because I think a big problem is everyone's spamming so many pieces trying to get the perfect piece, and then just chucking the rest up on the market, being like, here you go. So like, so of course that's like if everyone's doing the same thing, it's like the market's flooded, and I'm lucky that I'm a healer, so the pieces that most people are flooding the market with are actually oftentimes good for me. So it's like cheap for me to get geared up, but I know the problem almost all of my guild members have is like, well, I need it. The piece that I need is 14 million silver for it, otherwise, but there's a cheap garbage piece for 800,000. So it's like I think that would, along with some ideas of like limiting the amount of crafting is done, along with maybe just a way to influence what you get, I think would help tremendously, because as is, it's just people are just flooding, and it's just going to keep happening because people are going to keep looking for their perfect pieces.
There's two things I want to address. Those great points, Kaiser. One, I love this idea of like securing a stat. I would love it if you could like reforge an item, however it's done. Shocky, if it's, like you said, you have to spend some resources and you can secure one stat, but yeah, maybe it's like a 50% chance or some way to guarantee that you can keep one stat and you got to reforge the item. Oh, that would be really cool if you could do that. And just get the same amount of XP like for crafting the item in the first place, whatever. And then I do want to I kind of like jump topics here when I say that there is like, and this is my own personal opinion, I think there is something to be said about people always looking for the perfect piece. It's kind of like my PSA to the community, guys. Something that I've experienced is like, I have this armor, for example, and it's wisdom, might, weapon power, spell defense, and weapon defense, and like the spell defense, the weapon power, and the weapon defense all have like +2, and the crystals. It's a really nice piece of armor, but it has wisdom. And everybody I talk to, they go, wisdom, wisdom might, it's trash. I just want to say, like, when you get to the higher levels of this game and you start infusing your gear, like up to legendary, you're going to be hitting soft cap on everything. And I think there's an obsession with players maybe in the earlier stages of the game to like have every single piece of gear, vitality, might, weapon, power, and not enough like understanding that, okay, maybe instead of buying this perfect piece of gear for 14 million, I can go for like dexterity, vitality, weapon, power, impact, haste for 1 million, That's kind of like a rant of the day, I guess, for me. And it's also kind of a tip.
I'll co-sign
like,
that.
Yeah, I don't really get the whole obsession with like everything being perfect. I think it's okay to have one piece that's I mean, even myself right here, if you guys look, I'm using dexterity, vitality. I mean, all my gear is pretty good. I did spend a pretty penny, but it's not like perfect rolls on everything. And I'm still hitting, soft cap on weapon power, spell defense, and weapon defense. Obviously, okay, yeah, a lot of trophies too. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm a little bit passionate about that topic in recent days, but yeah, I think there's a lot of good ideas, like securing the stats, dismantling crafts to get a portion of the resources back. Honestly, guys, I think the most important thing is that I think Niter's aware, and he's already mentioned that, they're going to address this at some point. If you listen to the Niter Forge video, which, by the way, if you haven't, definitely give it a listen, even if you have to put it on 2x speed or whatever. He does touch on some really good stuff in there. He said, like, somebody had shared an idea about how to deal with this oversupply of, like too much supply of armor. And he was saying, hey, this is a really good idea, but we're already, in the process of developing something to deal with this. So they are doing something. We don't know what it is exactly, but, I think we'll see a good delegation of, use of armor. If I can't think of the right words to say that. But let me see what Lou is saying here in the chat. Core issue is that you're not really capped by how much you can craft, and that only benefits those who unlock a recipe. Yep, sell for big profits. Right. Yep. The monopoly issue. If you can choose stats and make better gear, it will be the same opportunity for others and devalue your item. I'm not sure if I totally understand what you're saying there, Lou. Maybe you can clarify. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and pivot onto the next point of conversation, which...
Jyrmz.
Yes.
Before you jump on the next subject, I would like to just mention that your introduction was a nice flex on a subtle flex on your taps and trophies, and to say about wisdom. I just got like a couple of days the Monument of Wisdom, and it's sitting idle on my inventory until today because I'm not selling, but I'm not using it yet. But I will eventually just use it because, yeah, what's the point of wisdom? But I do agree with you on this. I remember buying great T5s, looking for secondary, keeping intelligent and wisdom off, but focusing on my secondary attributes and getting really solid gears, because with food I could compensate this, offset this might that I might not be getting, and paying like 1/5, 1/6 of the actual price of the BIS version of it.
That's exactly my point. I agree, like, it's not ideal, to have wisdom or, some shitty stat on your gear, right? But I think it's okay if you have one piece of gear. Like, that's the thing. I just think some people, it's like an obsession. But I love what you said. That's the whole point, is that, like, I don't know. Let me look at my gear really quickly. So I have, legendary tier 6. And my primary stats is dexterity and vitality. It's giving me 12 dexterity. Like, if that's wisdom, oh my god, I have 12 wisdom. Like, it's nothing crazy. And just like you said, you can
Wisdom's also pretty great to have in small bits. Spell defense is nice.
Yeah, spell defense, extra mana, mana regeneration. Man, when I'm fighting mobs for a long period of time and I'm not drinking my banana vodka, I run out of wisdom in like 10 mobs. It's gone. I mean, not wisdom. I run out of mana in like 10 mobs. So, yeah, the food buffs compensate for everything you're missing. You know, if you're missing some vitality, eat some sweetened beans, or you know, your I can't think of the word, but the food that you can eat at your level that gives vitality, right? Or if you're missing some intelligence, you know, you get the point. Yeah, anyways, oh, OSG, the GIF didn't send. Oh man, it looks like our GIFs are being blocked in the chat. All right. So I do want to move on. We still have a ton to talk about, I think, but I'll try to power through the next few things, which are, and I wanted to bring up this idea that Niter was talking about in the Forge as well, the Quest 2.0 incoming. Basically, something I was thinking about today is as I was doing the boss bounties, you know, I started to think that boss bounties are actually a really good way to reward the people who are actually playing the game on a higher level, because I would say like 70% of the bosses in the boss bounty list are higher level bosses. You have Blake, you have the Red Count, you have, you know, some Djinn boss, some Elemental Jackals, which I haven't even, or Elemental Djinns, I don't know which one it is, but I haven't even fought these bosses yet. I mean, the only one that's like low level is the Shark boss. And so I think that this boss bounties, while Niter was kind of advertising it as you know, a way to help the lower level players find a group to defeat these bosses, which it definitely does do that. It also kind of gives us a taste of like, okay, you're playing the game actively, you're completing all these quests, you know, spending hours and hours to do this, and actually progressing through the game in a valuable way. Here's a little reward. And again, I just think it's a nice taste of, you know, the Quest 2.0, which is going to, as Niter says, reward the higher level players of the game, which is something that I think is really valuable. And yeah, and we can also talk about boss bounties as well and how you guys feel about that. Nova, how are you feeling about, you know, the slow transition into reward mechanics that emphasize higher level players, people who are actively playing the game, as opposed to just kind of rewarding everyone the same amount, as well as a new boss bounty system?
I haven't been able to test the new boss bounties yet because I just got my
God.
setup
Get this
going
guy
back.
outta here.
I've been offline with my
Muted.
PC, but we're back and going now, so I'm super hyped to get into them. But no, I think it's a really good. I think it would be really nice to see the people that are still here, still grinding, and still just like absolutely loving the game get rewarded for that in some way. How that works, I have no idea. That's not my forte, but I do think it would be nice to see the people that are still around and really supporting the game and the community get rewarded for something, whether it's through boss bounties, some other mechanic, whatever it is, especially the people that are higher up, because I've heard that it's difficult grinding the higher mobs with what they drop for silver, etc. So having something would be really cool to see.
Yeah. Dude, you gotta try the boss bounties. It's
Hey,
I mean it's
hey,
nothing
but
crazy.
you know,
It's not,
I must say that
yeah.
he lost potential 3700s of fame because that when if you guys know, of course, you know, the day they released was out of the schedule day, the Jackals. I'm not 73 yet. I'm hitting 70 today, and okay, I lost the Jackal, but the day after Jackal was, I guess the Shark. No, Shark was.
Wait,
I don't know.
you had Jackals?
Shark was Thursday.
Because we had
Jackal was
Lord of
No,
Sparn.
Jackal was Tuesday. It was
Jackal
Tuesday.
was Tuesday.
Yeah, Jackal. It was Jackal, Lord of Sparn, then it was Shark, and then there wasn't one on Friday, I don't think. Right?
Yes, because it was supposed to be on Thursday,
Okay.
Saturday,
Thursdays,
and Monday.
Saturdays, and Mondays. Yep.
Yes,
and
Thursday,
Monday.
Saturday,
but
Monday.
the team they just kept it going. So we lost Jackal, because I couldn't do it. And the second one was what the second one?
Scorn.
Yeah, Lord
score and
of
everything.
Sword,
Yeah,
then
very
Shard.
easy. You know, almost we had one guy in the guild that soloed the stuff, but it's boring about the
Oh
the
god, we
build
had so many
part.
people rage questing trying to get that quest done though. Like,
Yes,
especially when you get
yes.
to like the levers. We had to swap servers 3 times when we got to the levers because the levers weren't working. It
My
was
God.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like I
And now the
said,
thing
like
has fixed. But now it's on the schedule. It's fixed already. They announced and.
yeah.
But it was good because we have it every day. It was like, oh my God, it's fame paradise.
Yeah, I mean, I think
But yeah.
that's the, I said this before. I don't remember when I said it, but it as a mechanic to like challenge the higher level players and give them like end game content, so to speak. I don't think that it solves that problem.
No. I must 1 sec, man. Sorry to jump
Yeah,
on
no,
you
go
again,
ahead.
but
Yeah.
we talked about this too, and I had to say to my guild members, this is not world bosses.
Yeah.
This is just like a sort of a rangers company to help us keep going with the daily grind of fame and stuff. But it's not the world bosses yet. This is still to come with the major announcement and stuff. The
Yeah.
world bosses. This is not world bosses. People should not confuse this because you will be very frustrated if you just go through this route. This not and has not even been promoted as world bosses besides the name boss bounty sort of thing, and people calls world boss, but it should be clear it's not world boss.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, if anybody was confused, it's definitely not the same thing. And like I was saying, I don't think it's, this crazy innovative update, but it's a nice thing. Like I think it's like a nice reward for the higher level players who have been pushing through the quests. It's kind of like a thank you, and then at the same time, it also helps people who play solo, who don't have a guild, who, are new to the game and can't really find a group to do the bosses with. I remember back in the day, I was always in the global chat, hey, I'm going to go do Shark Boss if anybody would like to join. And I'd always find like a couple people lower level, oh, please take me to the Shark Boss, help me out. So I think it's a nice way to encourage people to go back and redo these bosses. And if it's easy for you, it's a nice reward. And if it's hard for you, it makes it a lot easier to find a group to do them with. I mean, even just today, actually, it was my first time doing Blake, and I think Bunny joined us as well, and it was her first time doing Blake, and, we had like 15 people there, and we absolutely obliterated him. So it's like first try,
Who died?
super easy.
Who died?
Nobody died. We all lived.
I just really like the fact that it's one, like, you get emblems, which is nice because I've been struggling, at least I can't be the only one struggling with emblems on upgrading their house and the rooms and having to pick and choose what house they upgrade or what room they upgrade.
Yeah,
at
I
a
was
given
thinking
time.
about this today. Yeah.
So that's super nice. And then similarly, like, just the fact that we can, it's a good excuse to bring people up through quests. Like, we're helping a lot of people that haven't done Blake yet do him, for example. And even today, like after Guild War, we immediately ran and did Blake, and I think we had like 30 people in the room, like Abak even, and those guys showed up and stuff. Like there was like, it was like 30, 40 people in the room, like a bunch of TG,
That's
GXE
crazy.
guys in there, right? Like it was, we killed them in like 15 seconds basically, and no one died, right? It was like,
yeah,
instant. So it was just nice to see like a bunch of people like out and about still, like in the world, right? So I think like even if it's a small thing and it's not like obviously game changing, it's just a nice change that like benefits everyone, even if it's just not a ton, right? It's just nice.
Phazin, I think we haven't heard from you in a while, and I think Fam Guild is maybe a little bit more new to the RavenQuest game. I think you guys joined maybe a little bit late. So I'm curious if you guys have any perspective like on how you've been enjoying the boss bounty system. How has your guild been dealing with it? Have you guys enjoyed going out together and hunting them down? Have most of your guild been able to participate at least in Blake and the Shark Boss?
Yeah, it's been a nice addition. We all did Shark Boss last night. We got a few guys that we can just solo it, so it's obviously that wasn't really much of a excitement there.
Yeah.
Haven't done Blake yet today though, but I was, kind of a little bit let down with it. Just I feel like having the rotation, it would have been better if we could select a boss and then there was a cooldown on that boss, because say what if Shark Boss doesn't come up for 2 weeks, then we're not actually helping the low level players get through that Shark Boss to do a bounty. And scaling the difficulty for how high the levels are that are going in there would essentially make it a little bit more fun. But other than that, nice content update. Yeah.
That is actually a great suggestion, Phazin. I'm definitely going to be including this in the feedback breakdown at the end of this roundtable. I love the idea of being able to select a boss that you want to attempt to take down and being able to coordinate with other guilds, other individuals, and then, you know, that boss being on cooldown for you when you select it. I really like that suggestion. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you think in the speakers? Anybody want to touch on that? If you agree or disagree? Yeah? I think it's a great idea. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a single negative to it. So it seems pretty just mutually beneficial for all if it's something like more like that.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Phazin. That was a nice juicy suggestion there, brother. Hopefully we can see something at least similar to that integrated at some point in time. But yeah, guys, I mean, overall, I think we all agree that the boss bounties, it's a positive introduction into the game. You know, nothing super revolutionary, but it's very helpful in many ways and many fronts. And I'm excited to see, you know, where these updates continue to take us in the state of the game. Yeah, I think with that, we can move on to our final point here, which is RavenIdle incoming. I don't want to talk too long on this because we're coming up on our final minutes here. We can definitely extend things out, you know, longer than an hour.
We can spend an hour talking about it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
For real, I'm loving it.
Oh man, guys, I you're gonna have to take the wheel here because I actually have not had an opportunity to play. I got some error when I was trying to create an account, and I just haven't really been able to log in. But I think I finally got my account set up. Kiaj was telling me that there's something about the email I was using that was being blocked. Anyways, I'm gonna do my best to play through some of it tonight. I've had a lot of people tell me about their experience of it. Been hearing a lot of positives, some negative, but mostly positive from the people that I've spoken to. So I'm gonna open up the floor here, and I want you guys to tell me about. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cut myself off. I'm gonna quickly inform any listeners here about the RavenIdle. So we actually just got an announcement before the roundtable, which is that the RavenIdle is launching. I guess you could call it global launch or open beta on July 4th. So everyone will be able to play, not just landowners anymore, on July 4th with a massive prize pool of up to $570,000 in rewards, as well as a, for Season 0, we have a 28-day prize pool from July 4th to August 1st, up to $70,000 in rewards seeded by Tavern Light Games. 100% of the Battle Pass revenue goes towards the prize pool. Earn while you play, earn while you're away. Idle on web, mobile, and Telegram. Some other details in the announcement, which I will go ahead and link here in the chat. So let's copy that message link and drop it in the chat. For those of you who haven't read that announcement, definitely give it a look. I think that is cooking up to be an awesome launch for RavenIdle. So I'm personally super excited. Always love a good, juicy reward pool. Hopefully you guys are excited as well, and we get some nice traction on the game. But I apologize for cutting off the conversation there and bringing that up. Who wanted to share their thoughts on RavenIdle? Nova, I think you said you've been eating it up and playing a ton, so do you want to share your thoughts on RavenIdle and how you've been enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been just absolutely loving it. It's been on my second monitor 24/7. I have not stopped playing since it came out. It feels like RavenQuest literally just moved itself into an idle game, and they did it so, in my opinion, just effortlessly and flawlessly that when you start playing it, it just really makes sense. It flows very nicely. The battles are super fun. There's, I think, 1,048 different mob types that you can fight throughout that scale up in level, so you can keep getting the rewards from the mobs, so you don't have to go way back down and kill your XP. The crafting system's great. I think that they really took the time to flesh out exactly how many mats are needed for how many things from the idle side, and I think they really scaled like how many mats you're receiving from farming on your lands, from the gathering that you're doing, from mining and woodcutting. Like I'm eating it up. I'm absolutely loving it. I can't wait for the full release of it.
That is very cool to hear, Nova. Yeah, my buddy Kiaj, another Vice leader over at Explore, was telling me like he feels like RavenIdle is the experience of playing RavenQuest without all of the annoying like grinding. You know, you just kind of got to sit in one area and do the same thing over and over again. With this, it's like a smoothed out experience, very well thought out, and you can leave it on idle, you know, and not have to deal with the time consumption of RavenQuest, which is quite intense. Not in a bad way, you know, that's not a negative thing necessarily, but yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing your perspective there. Has anyone else been grinding RavenIdle as hard as Nova, and or you know maybe casually?
Oh, yeah.
Kaiser.
It's just been great. Like I haven't touched it since like the wiper or anything that happened this morning, but and before, I'm sure people passed me at the end, but I was like number like 6 on the carpentry on it there for a while and stuff on the leaderboard. It was just I don't know. It's one of those things that like there's obviously some kinks and some bugs to work out and especially with like the battling and trying to make it a little smarter, but it's just so easily addicting, right? Especially because I assume anyone that's listening or anyone that's here loves RavenQuest, you know, to varying degrees obviously, but I'm sure at the core of it everyone here, you know, wants to play RavenQuest, wants to love it, wants to enjoy it, and this is just honestly more of it just like injected straight into my veins basically. it's diluted down enough to where it's like it's not any of like the fuss about it or anything. I can just like I just open up my web browser, open my phone, like, oh, I'm laying in bed, cool, let me quick pop on, let me swap to, you know, chopping down some trees quick or something, you know what I mean? It's so nice and so addicting and so easily one of those things that it's just fun. And like the entire guild's been talking about it since they released it yesterday. Everyone's like been competing. We had some people, you know, in like the top 10 of the like legacy or of the dungeons, excuse me, leaderboard and stuff. Like people were grinding, and it was like everyone was talking about it and having a fun time. So I think now we're all kind of just kicking the rock, looking around, waiting for it for July 4th here.
Awesome, man. I love to hear that. That's great. A couple things in the chat I want to address really quickly. Lou is saying, guys, I need a good build for RavenIdle, please. This is very cool to see from such an experienced player. I don't know if Lou is being serious, but man, if you're actually asking for a recommended build, there's something cool that I like to see about that, which is like, it makes me think that the RavenIdle.
That's the fun of it. The spells are slightly different. For example, I think a lot of people might not realize that, like how, especially because it's turn based now, right? So you have to like optimize and change your strategy a little bit. For example, like I most people know me as a healer, so obviously I wasn't gonna be a healer in my first at least go through of RavenIdle. So I was just like, screw it, I'll just build a hex ward and have fun with it and stuff. And it's actually surprisingly like really fun when you look at like, oh, curse now hits every target, for example, right? So you can use that to your advantage and stuff like that and swap things. But you see, leech now isn't actually isn't a dot. It's just a single use, for example. So you can't, you know, use it the same way you would in game regularly. So it just leads to a lot of strategy changes, a lot of like small little changes that actually add up a lot.
I love to hear that. I mean, it sounds like, you know, someone who's been playing RavenQuest intensely actually finds themselves needing to like rethink strategies and enjoy a fresh experience, a similar, like, well, the same game, but fresh experience. So that's really good to hear. But I did want to kind of do unshameful, I can't think of the word, but a shameful plug and talk about something exciting that we are cooking over on RavenQuest.tools. We have fully like wrapped up our design of the build planner, which has been in the back of our minds for so long. We've wanted to push this out for so long, and we finally have, you know, gotten around to it. So, guys, the build planner is coming soon. It's going to have a lot of really cool features, and I think it's going to be a really enjoyable experience, actually, and a very seamless experience to share your build. That's something we focused heavily on, is making sure that it's not like, you know, painfully slow or annoying to kind of build your build and then showcase it. So we're really excited to push that out for you guys. We've shared it with the team already, and they think it looks great. Yeah, so yeah, I just can't wait for the community to get their hands on our build planner, and we'll definitely have a tag called RavenIdle where you can share your RavenIdle builds. If not in the first stage of the build planner, at least it'll be like one of the first updates we do to it. Yeah, just wanted to share that out there. Be on the lookout. And then as well on our side, we have the Ravens Quill Challenge. Foolish, who's not feeling well, just shared it in the chat a minute ago. It is a contest we're hosting with 5 winners. So for every 10 valid entries we get, we're going to be selecting one winner to receive 500 Quest and $50 in Raven packs sponsored by the RavenQuest team. The quest is from us. The packs are from them. So anything, guys. It could be your guild's story. It could be your personal journey, like what you love about RavenQuest, what games you used to play when you were a kid. I mean, guys, anything. Like any blog you want us to share that you find like value in, any voice that you want to speak to, any like tips that you have about the game, anything that you feel passionate about writing, feel free to write up a blog, submit it in our competition, and you could be selected as a winner. So, definitely keep your eyes peeled on that. Don't sleep on it. It's a decent chunk of change. I mean, 500 Quest, I don't know the exact math of what that's worth right now, but it's a good amount of money on top of the $50 worth of packs. So we'd love to read your blogs. I see a bunch of new stuff being shared in the chat. People sharing. Oh, Phazon, did you drop a trophy in RavenIdle?
Yeah, I got it pretty well straight away.
Wow, nice, bro. That's if only we could have that kind of luck in the actual game, right?
I mean, I've already got 6 trophies in the game as well, so.
Whoa.
God damn, brother.
Always cooking.
Phazon
No
going crazy.
way.
He's hacking.
He's hacking, bro. Wait, actually,
gonna
6
farm
trophies
those mobs.
just from farming mobs. That's nuts, bro. That is nuts.
15 hours a day, every day.
Yeah, I mean, I know you and Sin and Punishment are fucking grinders, man. Like, I don't know how you guys do that, to be honest, but mad respect, and those trophies, I'm sure, are well deserved. Shadow Reborn Battle Pass. Congrats on reaching level 25. Amazing items are waiting for you in the Battle Pass. Click below to find out more. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Nova. That's something that was included in the announcement about RavenIdle, that there's going to be a Battle Pass with rewards. Yeah, guys, it's very hype. I'm super excited for all the things coming to the game. Does anyone else want to touch on RavenIdle, their experience, and what you're excited for?
I just want to touch
on
these trophy drops, making me jealous. Like, I played
Right?
Raven Dawn. I played every beta. I finally just like said whatever. I'll buy all my trophies. I bought a bunch of trophies in the past couple weeks, and then literally the day after I buy a Saurian trophy, I drop one. The first trophy I've ever dropped, literally like 12 hours after I bought one. It's just like, this is ridiculous. And of course, no trophies in RavenIdle either. So like, you guys all got mad luck and need to give me some of it.
Yeah, I second this motion. I farmed Saurians for like 15 hours in order to get one trophy, but I've never dropped another creature trophy. I think it's been the only one I've ever dropped was Saurians. So, and I'm sure there's
Jyrmz.
Yeah.
You are lucky because I stay 15 hours to get one rune from Saurian, and you take 15 hours to get a trophy. Oh my god, what game are we playing? Because I don't know.
I don't know. I just want to point out for the runes one, I did not get 30 until like a week ago, and I've been farming there since 2 weeks into the game. So I don't know if we want to talk about rune drops. I've been getting millions of XP.
I've been mining here for ages.
Oh, I got 1 rune, bro. 1 rune. I've been killing these high-level Caimans, probably 2 million XP worth, and I think I've gotten 1 rune. So, and the Gilead Journal, it's rough, guys. It is rough. But we'll get there eventually, right?
Or we can just drop a bomb on it and just get rid of it. I'm fine with that too.
No, bro, we can't. Because imagine all the people who sat there and grinded it out. That would be a big pain in the ass for them. Please, Niter, please.
They can
kill
keep
the journal.
They can keep
kill
it at this point. Yeah, it's okay. I'm over Gilead.
I know, right?
If I have to hear that music another day, I'm gonna cry.
Oh my god, Threvon. Getting a little hot and heavy in the chat there, man. Just hit me in the DMs, brother. You know, I don't think I'm gonna be posting that in the forum breakdown, but I think, guys, let's close this out here with some final thoughts. Not close it out, but I'm gonna go ahead and open the floor to any like specific topics that anyone is passionate about, wants to discuss here on the roundtable, like speakers, people in the chat. Any suggestions you have for the direction of the game, things you want to see me include in the forum, or you just want to talk about right now, as we're all here together, hanging out in this roundtable. Faison, I'm going to go ahead and push it to you first, because you actually brought some things to me, like very specific ideas. One of them being, I think, something related to us. You were talking about improving the journal blogs that we had written, if I'm not mistaken. And then
Yes.
also, you wanted to talk about a fun idea with showing player counts on the server. So I'm not going to, share everything that you've said, but go ahead and take it away and tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, I've got two things. I might just leave the channel thing. We'll do that another day. But yeah, the journal thing, I really liked the idea of you having like RavenQuest.tools on there like every day. But I was disappointed when I went to the journals, because I'm stuck and there's no information anywhere to find X information on a journal part, and with our guild being so young still, people haven't done it.
Wait, hold
trying
on.
to find these locations in the game.
Can I cut you off really quickly? You're saying that. Wait, did you read our blogs? Because we have blogs about the journals. Okay, so you read them, and you felt like there was still information that was missing from them.
Yeah, I just feel like there could have been more. I didn't know, and that's why I wanted more of your opinion, as in, were you writing the blogs to kind of tell people exactly where to go, or was it more just, I don't know, I felt like it lacked information.
Hey, that's totally fair. If you felt like it was lacking, I'm definitely going to go back, do an audit, take a look at it myself. I'll be completely transparent with you. I don't write all the blogs myself. We do our best to push out as much as we can as a small team. So sometimes, maybe the blogs are not like as thorough as they could be. So I really do appreciate this feedback. I'll definitely be taking a deeper dive on those specifically. Sometimes the blogs are maybe a little bit more high level. Like I just released one on the Rift, and like it's definitely more oriented towards beginners, right? I'm not giving you guys like super pro tips, like go here and do this, and it's kind of just like, okay, here's, as a beginner, what you should be looking at. And I think that that's the approach that our writer, like our contributor, I mean, it's public knowledge. Like if you see who wrote it, it's Mr. House. That's probably the approach he was taking. But yeah, man. I really appreciate the feedback, and I'll definitely be looking into that and trying to improve them. Maybe even create a video breakdown about them. If you're saying your guild is struggling with finding certain things about the journals, yeah, I can talk to my guildmates, and we can look into improving the information that is provided in those blogs, as well as even creating some videos. So.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, I mean, just given one example would be, say, find the crystal eye that's in Master's Overlook. I don't know how far you want to go, but even just a screenshot of the location.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of what I thought the blog was going to be, but yeah, when I went there and read it, I was just like, oh.
Yeah,
it doesn't give me much.
It didn't help you out. I understand. Hey, I will do my best to provide that when I can. I mean, honestly, bro, there's so much in the game. Right now, I think like 90% of the community relies on Botrex and all of his videos from like 1962 on how to, how to finish a quest or how to find something in the game.
1962.
We're as a community, I think we're a little bit lacking on the content and like the information sharing side. I think it's everything is a little bit out of date. So, like I said, I really do appreciate the feedback. We're doing our best over here at RavenQuest Tools, to not only provide blogs, but also tools. And, I'm over on Twitter providing tips of the day every day, like trying my best to cover like everything that I possibly can. But, I mean, yeah, I just can't say anything else other than I appreciate you giving us that very candid and raw feedback, and I'll definitely be updating those blogs as quickly as I can with some juicy info. So I apologize, and or
Yeah.
not apologize, but yeah, I do appreciate it. So
Oh, cheers. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, if you ever, you can always send me a message as well. If you ever need help on the journals, I can send you some information. I think I've completed most of them, so I can help.
I will definitely be doing that, and I appreciate it. Yeah, we actually love it when our community, you know, like anybody in the community, can help us out. We always have stuff that we need from the game, like in-game information. You know, what is this item? Where does it come from? So I'll definitely be leaning on the community a little bit more if you guys are open to it. So I do appreciate that. 64 World has been posting some helpful YouTube tutorials. Bunny just said that in the chat. So awesome, 64. I don't know, you know, if that covers the journal, but regardless, guys, I mean, yeah, that's a great point, Bunny. While I did say that we are relying on, you know, maybe some older content, I think, you know, there are some incredible creators out there like 64 who we have here, Nova, as well as I think Vitronics maybe, and Valdez. I'm probably missing a bunch of names, but yeah, definitely, you know, dive into these channels and take a look. And Bunny, yeah. Cool.
Thank you, Bunny.
Yeah, thank you, Bunny. She's awesome. Does anybody have anything else specific that you guys wanted to bring up on today's roundtable before we kind of close things out here? If not, no worries.
I got another question about GVGs, if I can throw that in.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I actually didn't say at the start. We did lose our GVG this week, but more progression. But we came up against a 4 healer team, and they were pulling their flag towards where their respawn shrine was. And we found because the respawn timer was so short, they could always have a healer up 24/7. Has anyone else come up against that and it would increase, like if we saw an increase in the death timer? What are your guys' thoughts?
That
Do you have
sounds
that recorded anywhere?
pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Faison.
say. Wait, could you break that down? So they were pulling the flag. Could you tell me that one time? So my kids are super loud, and I'm actually into it.
What I think is happening, 64, is they have a full team of healers, so they're basically like super unkillable, right? That makes it very hard to kill them. They would pull the flag to their shrine, so when the flag carrier died, they would just like have a healer back up right away to like go grab the flag, and you couldn't do anything about it. Did I understand that breakdown correctly, Faison?
Yeah, and full props to them for using that strategy. It was like we ended up having about 90 kills compared to their 50, but we just couldn't out damage them with the amount of healing they were doing.
It's funny that you bring that up, Faison, because we were actually talking about like this issue with tankiness being like too powerful in Guild Wars right now. Like the protection tree just overall needs like more nerfs. Something really cool that I think Niter mentioned recently was that they're actually introducing game mode specific adjustments to skills. So like the recent change to Feasting Strike was to address like was meant to address how overpowered Dark Knight is in the Rift, but the problem is that Feasting Strike is not really that overpowered in like open world play, so the community reacted very poorly to that. So they reverted the change. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting strategy. Like you said, props to them for using it. But hopefully, you know, we'll see an adjustment to this like very heavy tank style gameplay, which I think a lot of us are experiencing fighting against in the rifts. So I've never heard of that, by the way. Like to answer your question, I've never heard of this. I can't believe that.
Yeah, if you have that recorded somewhere, that'd be really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It should be on I think Sin recorded the whole thing, so I can make a clip later and I can send it in the chat here.
That'd be super interesting to watch.
Awesome.
Yeah, because that's an interesting strategy, and there's got to be a way to counter it. I'm sure, but
yeah, I mean, maybe a bunch of mana siphon, just suck the mana out of them, and I don't even know.
Yeah, that's something like that I was thinking. But it's it's one of those things that like in the heat of the moment, if you're not prepared for it, that sounds something that you're just gonna be like, well, we lose. So it's something that like I feel like you just gotta be really prepared for. So that'd be just like a really interesting thing to like take a look at if you're comfortable sharing.
It's cool too, you know, to like that's something that you would never think of as a traditional build. I mean, I always, as weird as it sounds, I like when people kind of abuse mechanics in a way that like they're not supposed to be abused. It's kind of like they've discovered, they've discovered an interesting build. I don't know. I think about like Overwatch back in the day. If anybody ever played Overwatch, obviously I'm talking about a first-person shooter in an MMO discussion, but you could have like the same character. Everyone could play the same 6 characters in one team, and you'd have like 6 healers, or you'd be versing 6 tanks, and it was always interesting to see people come up with creative combinations. And I think that also goes to like it speaks to the variety that this game showcases in the amount of builds that can be created. And then when you synergize those builds with other people, kind of the nasty combos that can be discovered similar to this healing build, where on one hand it's like toxic and kind of annoying, and then on the other hand it's kind of interesting to see, witness, and to hear about, right? But okay, guys, I think let's go ahead and close it out here. It's been an incredible hour and 15 minutes-ish here talking to you guys all on episode 10 of the RavenQuest Guilds Roundtable. If you haven't checked out our website, I'm sure everyone who's listening in has, but go ahead and check us out on RavenQuest.tools. We have a trade pack calculator as well as like a fun quest calculator on there. We've got some mini games. We've got a bunch of blogs, which Faison was talking about. I know maybe the journal one wasn't as helpful, but I like to think that, there are some helpful blogs in there. If you are new to the game, definitely give them a read. There's one that I wrote, everything you need to know about trade packs. So if you're new to trade packing, definitely give that one a read. There's one that I wrote about the rifts, which kind of helps you learn some like key strategies about the rifts and like what you should do if you're new to the rifts. So definitely give us a check. I will link the website right now, actually, in the chat. And like I said, guys, I will do my best to, with Foolish, who is an amazing and incredibly hard worker, have a recording of this roundtable up as soon as possible on our YouTube channel, which I will also go ahead and pull up here and link in the chat for you guys. Yeah, we'll have a recording of this roundtable up as soon as possible, and we will also create that forum post in the general feedback channel of the RavenQuest Discord. So keep your eyes peeled, go back through, and I will be including feedback from not only myself and the speakers, but also all of the listeners here. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here. It means the world to me, for the speakers to be here and engaging with the community in this way. I think it's really important, really helpful. It means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to you guys and the community. It's the least I can do, as the host here, just to kind of give everybody a voice, which I think Niter is actually following up on with the Niter Forge. It's an incredible thing that I think he's doing there, so make sure you're watching those every week. And yeah, I think that just about wraps it up for this week. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you all. Oh, sorry, last thing. We might be changing the time of the roundtables. So if you are used to coming in at this time of the day, be on the lookout for an announcement. We are considering changing it to a better time of the week, time of day. So definitely let us know what you would prefer to see in terms of time-wise for the roundtable, if this is something you enjoy attending. So thank you guys so much, and have a beautiful day.
Thanks, Jyrmz. Feel better.
Thanks, Jyrmz.
Thanks, Jyrmz.
Get him in.
Thank you guys. Much love.
Appreciate you, brother.